we've we have we have pared it down a little bit. We don't have the chickens anymore, which is a shame. I used to love the chickens. We used to get fresh eggs every day, and they're endlessly entertaining as well. We don't have the ducks. The ducks have gone, so which I miss. I miss them, but they're hard work. They're quite messy. They create a lot of. They're just the chickens, and the chickens go everywhere. They get in the house. You find them in cupboards. So they're a bit much. They're good fun, but they're a bit much. And so we don't have the chickens and the ducks, but we have our cockatoos. We have 3 dogs. We've got some lizards. We've got some tree frogs. We've got armadillos, and we've got a couple of pheasants. And we had a cockerel for a while, and he suddenly discovered his crow. He discovered that he could crow like a proper cockerel should, and it hadn't worked out for him for a while, and I don't know if it was confidence or something. He would start and he'd go cockatoo, and then just kind of lose interest. And a cockatoo, and he just never really followed through, like he wasn't quite sure of his own self. And then he kind of, I don't know, one day he got confident, and he just went, and he realised he could do it, and then he just wouldn't shut up then. And so we thought this might be a problem. And actually I thought, well, cockerels crowing at first light, in a flat in West London, this is going to be a problem. And I remember seeing one of the neighbours in the street, and he caught my eye, and I thought, oh, this might be a cockerel conversation. And he said, he goes, oh, you're up there, aren't you? I went, yeah. He said, you got a cockerel. I was like, yeah. And I was already the whole thing for a bit. Yeah, sorry, I will. And he went, no. He goes, I love it. He goes, it's fantastic. He goes, reminds me of the countryside. And I went, oh, okay. Didn't expect that. Great. And then the same refrain from lots of other neighbours who were saying it just reminded them of, we had some neighbours from Trinidad, and they said it reminded them of home. We had some people who lived in the countryside, it said it reminded them of home, and they said it was like lovely hearing a sound of the countryside in the city, where we're so used to hearing much more sort of urban noises, cars, planes, trains, skip lorries bouncing over speed bumps. We're so used to that kind of symphony of urban sound. Hearing something that was natural and reminding them of the countryside was actually, people actually loved. So that worked out very well. I was quite chuffed by that. So that was an unexpected benefit of having them. And any encounter that we have with wild nature is memorable in some way. I mean, I remember walking in Hertfordshire along the Ridgeway with my old pal Sean Locke, which we used to do very, very often. And on one occasion, we'd taken a wrong turn, actually. We got lost. And so we were in this wood, and we were emerging from this wood looking for this path. And suddenly, there was a herd of deer. And they were crossing this field, and they hadn't seen us or were aware of us because we were downwind of them, I guess. I don't know, but they were, and we just stopped and held our breath and watched as these deer trotted across this field, and then suddenly they stopped, they froze, and they looked round and directly at us, and we had this sort of moment where we just didn't move, and then they carried on and all jumped over a fence, and I remember we're in a state of awe after that, and that we talked about it many months, years later. Just some simple things like that can have this profound effect on us, and I think that happens with all of us when we encounter wild nature.